Welcome to Theater Crafts, where we take theater memorabilia and make brand new treasures. Okay, so today I'm doing something totally different. Today, I've taken a charger. These are plastic chargers that I literally bought this at Dollar Tree. So it was $1.25, and you can see it's quite large. It's a charger plate, it says. And I decided to transform it into this platter. How cool is that? It's got, decoration, the decoration, the sparkle around the side. And inside here is actually fabric. It's theater fabric that I had, but you could put any kind of fabric if you want a themed party, a sports theme or princess theme or whatever. You can take any kind of fabric that you have and put it on the inside. And this is usable. And I'm using dishwasher safe Mod Podge so you can actually wash it. All right, so I'm going to show you how we make it. All right, let's get crafting. Okay, so you don't really need very much for this. First of all, obviously you need your charger. I used a large one here, but they're all different sizes, and you could find something that you already have or something that at a thrift shop or anything like that. And then the fabric, obviously, that I'm going to use on the inside of this particular charger. And then I happen to have this kind of glitter paint, which I thought was really fun, and some black acrylic paint. And then obviously, like I said, you're going to use your dishwasher safe Mod Podge, and that's important so that we can wash it. And then obviously your paintbrushes, and I have a little dauber here. So that's it for what we need. The first thing you need to do is get that sticker off the back, and sometimes that's the hardest thing to do. But then once you get that sticker off the back, you really want to make sure that you clean it really well. If you're struggling to get that sticker off, you could always heat it with a heat gun or a hair dryer or something like that. And here I'm just wiping it down just to make sure to get any fingerprints off of the back or any of that glue residue off of the back, because it will show through because we're painting on the back side of the charger plate. So just make sure you get it nice and clean. Notice I've got a little bit of the glue here. So just kind of wiping that down, and then we're going to start with the painting process. All right, and so we're going to actually work in a reverse order here. So I just put my paint on a little paper plate, and I'm putting the sparkle on first. And it seems like you would put that on last, but because we're working from behind, you need to put the sparkle on first. And I started, putting the sparkle on and putting it in kind of a sparse amount of sparkles. But then I decided I really liked the gold sparkle on it. So I went around and I added another layer. And you really want to think about this. So when you're deciding where to put your fabric, I decided on just that center portion. You want to make sure you don't get paint on that because it will show through. Of course, you could wipe it off before it dries, but you just want to be careful about that. And I did notice that on this particular plate, you can see there's a silver rim around the end, the edge of the plate. And I kind of liked that. I thought that gave it a little bit of kind of a definition around the edge. So I did leave that. So here I am adding another layer of the sparkle around the edge of the plate. And again, it just added, I thought it added, looked kind of like lights, theater lights or something like that. I just thought it was really cool. So just adding a nice layer around here. And then I'm going to let that completely dry. And I let it dry for a couple of hours so that the black paint that I added after didn't pull it off. And once that was dry, look at this. It already just kind of transforms the plate. So now I took black paint and I put the black paint on a paper plate, and that's just to make it easier to paint. And I'm adding the black paint right over the sparkles. Now again, we're working from the back of the plate. So we're looking from behind, so that we're gonna see the sparkles on the front. So don't panic. I know it looks kind of scary right now. And so this, I'm just using regular acrylic paint, And don't worry if it dries matte. If you want, kind of a more kind of shiny finish, we are going to add the Mod Podge onto it afterwards. So that will give you a little bit more of a finish if you're looking for that. So here, I actually only added one coat. I was surprised. I expected to have to add 2 coats, but it actually had pretty decent coverage. You know, depending on the kind of paint that you're using, take a look at it once it dries and make sure that it has the coverage that you want. So basically, I'm just going around really kind of trying to be a little bit careful. The background of my fabric is black, so I thought if it goes over that center section a little bit, it wasn't going to be the end of the world. But you could also take just a paper towel or something and wipe off if you get over that edge. And so just adding this section by section, and it's just gonna have kind of a really cool, like I said, almost like Broadway lights on this one. But like I said, you can add any color that goes along with the fabric that you've chosen. And the fabric that I have is just really, it's cotton fabric. So you could use, like if you have show shirts, you could put the show shirt on the back. You could put baby clothing on it. You could put cartoon characters if you want a cartoons, party of some sort. But how cool would this be for, a Tony Award party, or if you have friends over for movie night, you could do a movie charger and put the snacks on it for the evening. There are just so many possibilities for this, and I just love the final look of it. So here we go. See, like I added a little bit there, and just wipe it off. It's all good. All right, so again, just adding the final color onto that, and then we're going to let that dry. And I'm gonna be honest, I let mine dry overnight. You don't have to wait that long. I didn't need to wait that long. I just was letting it dry, and then other projects gotten the better of me. So but really make sure it's nicely dried so that you can do the next part of this project. Okay, here it is, completely dry. And I was, like I said, I was happy with the way it looked. You can see here, look at that. It's so sparkly, and I just love the look of it. And so now the center is where I'm going to add that fabric. I happen to find out that the center of that plate happens to be the size of the paper plates I was using for my paint. Oddly enough, it's the right size. So I was able to take that paper plate and put it over my fabric and just draw, take a pencil and draw around, and then I cut that out, and here it is. And I think that's amazing. So you can take whatever is kind of the right size and cut that out. So now I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to take my dishwasher safe Mod Podge, and that's what we're going to use to adhere the fabric onto the plate. And again, we're doing this onto the back of the plate. All right, so take your Mod Podge, and again, make sure it's dishwasher safe Mod Podge, and that way it will be washable. Now, in order to put it in the dishwasher, although this particular plate is plastic, I wouldn't put it in the dishwasher anyway, but if you have something that's glass, for example, you do need to wait 21 days before you go ahead and wash that in the dishwasher. But once it's dry, you can hand wash it. And for something like this, I would hand wash it anyway. So notice here, I've put a fair amount of Mod Podge on, and I'm using the sponge brush to just kind of stipple it on. And then you take your fabric and you're going to really adhere it on there. And if you find that it's not completely centered, I found that mine needed to be kind of adjusted a little bit. You have a little bit of time, and that's the beauty of this particular Mod Podge. And then take your Mod Podge and you're going to add a nice layer over the top of it as well. And really make sure that it's nice and saturated. And I'm doing around the edges as well. And I will also do the black over the black so that that can be washed as well. I'm putting a fair amount on this here, and then I'm going to let it dry. And I'm going to be honest, I added another couple of coats onto this but I let it dry completely in between each coat so that it really is going to be nice and waterproof so that you can wash it when you're using it. And again, I'm stippling it with the sponge brush, mostly because I didn't want the brush strokes. I really liked the stippling look for it. So I did that for each layer. And you can do that too, but if you like the brush strokes, leave it with the brush strokes. That's fine too. All right, so gonna let that completely dry. Okay, and as I said, I did 3 coats on this and it is completely dry. But wait, do you see what it looks like? It's so good. This is completely dry and you're able to wash it. Again, wait 21 days if you want to wash something that is dishwasher safe. But look at this. I can't even believe how awesome this looks. I love this so much. Sorry, my ring light is getting in the way there. But look at the details on that. I love the colors. I love the black and how the sparkle paint really pulls in like the theatrical elements of it. I just think this is awesome. And again, you can use any fabric, any colors that you like. It just has so many possibilities. So I hope you give this a try. Let me know in the comments below, what kind of fabric would you use? What would you use for this plate for? Would it be a party? Would it be, hanging out with your friends? Would it be movie night? What is it that you would use this for? So I hope you give it a try. Thank you for joining me for this week's Theater Craft. See you next week. Bye-bye.